Hi there, I am Kathy Crow. This is the Crow Cottage. Thank you so much for joining me today. I got to the park today. It was beautiful. I'm glad I went early because it is now clouded over. They said it was going to rain today. And although when I drove home, excuse my voice here, when I drove home, the car said it was 67 degrees. And I was out there a couple of hours, so I was thinking, no way, there's no way it is 67 degrees out there, because it didn't even feel like it was barely in the 60s. But anyway, today we are going to do something fun. I kind of gave you a sneak preview of this card. I'm going to do colors a little different, but this is a waterfall card or technique, and it's very easy to do. I've kind of put off doing them because I didn't know how easy they really are, but they're super easy to make and easy to pull and do. So a child could do this really easily, and I'm always on the lookout for a good action card that a child can do, because, hi Will, it's nice to see you. Our kids, Will's watching, he was one of them, loved action books. Anything that had pull tabs or little hidden doors and things like that were super fun. But the problem is they were really expensive. So the goal is to let them read the book, right? So you want them to enjoy the book. You want them to handle it. You want them to turn the pages. You want them to point to the words so they know directionality and all those things. But with a pop-up book that you're paying $30 for, you know, you were limited in what you could let them actually do when they were little. So I was really happy to see this pull card, because this is one that I can make for all my grandkids from even a very young age, and they would be able to manage it. And with a card, the beautiful thing about that is it's super cheap, and if they ruin it on the first go, oh wow, it's ruined, a big deal. But with a pop-up book, it's like totally different. So I still, as a grandma, am still on the lookout for good pop-up books that are generally just open the flap, because those were really fun for the kids, because there was some hidden surprise. And even if they tore the flap off, I could tape it back on again, right? So anyhow, so that's the card we're going to do. I'm doing it with this Waves of Inspiration, is our new stamp set that's available this month. Actually, it's available with the dies all the way to the new catalog, because this is going to be in the new catalog. So this is sort of a sneak peek at what's available. And it's got some really nice ones. One thing that the sentiment that they have on here that's a really good one that we don't have in a lot of sets is this: your strength is an inspiration. That's actually a really good sentiment. This is a really good sentiment for those of us who are Christians, because we would be thinking that this is God's strength, of course, and through us, right? But you could pair this with Bible verses really easy to get that theme. Now, if you're not a Christian at all, it's still a good sentiment, and you could use it in a variety of ways. But to pair it with the wave is perfect, especially for those of us who are Christians, because the waves are a perfect example of you never know where God's going, what he's doing. You have no power over his strength, right? His strength definitely is what sustains us, gets us through, and it's beautiful. It is powerful, so it is something to respect and be a little scared of at times, right? Hi, Jewel. It's good to see you. Thank you. Oh, good. Hope you had a good birthday. I'm going to put the camera down. We're going to get started here, because since this is a waterfall card, I never really know exactly how easy it's going to be to get going with something like that, you know. I never really know. Now I'm gonna try putting this camera down, see if it cooperates with me. It kind of did. I've got like this cord issue that if I got a new iPhone, I wouldn't have this cord issue, because I wouldn't have to worry about it not having enough power all the way through one of these deals. But it probably would make it, but it always scares me when it looks like I've finished my video. It's still probably downloading, and I see, as I was just even messing with this cord, my video is like super unhappy, acting up weird. So I wonder if my power is if my power source might be interfering with my internet reception. That's kind of interesting. All the little little technical things that happen when you're messing with electricity, basically, right? Yeah. So I'm not really sure how that's, maybe it's just my power cord isn't very good. This is that, I've got it all plugged in actually to one of our old Christmas tree extension cords, because it has like multiple cord, you know, multiple plugs on it, and yeah, so I'm not sure how that worked. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. All right, I did not, let me write my name on here really quick so you know who I am. And if you wish to find me, you go to Stampin' Up's website. When you type in Kathy Crow, make sure you find my face, and I am in Missouri. So if you wanted to find me, find the one that's in Missouri. There is one in Illinois. She would be happy to take your order too. Hi, Trudy. It's nice to see you. One of these days I'll have to actually meet my friend, my sister, and Kathy Crow in Illinois. I'm not sure where she lives in Illinois, but that's pretty close to me now, so I could probably find out. All right, so I'm trying to feel my cardstock. Which one is which? Okay, that's that one. All right, so let's look at our dimensions first of all and see what I'm doing for this waterfall card. You're going to start with your 11 by 6 inch card base. Thank you for sharing. Oh, Trudy, you are so faithful. Thank you so much. I always forget. Please, everybody, share the video. I really appreciate it, and it helps it to get around a little bit. And you never know what friend you might have that might be interested in starting up a new hobby. So this is your card base. It's a little messed up on the back, but don't worry. Yours will be beautiful. So that's your card base. We're going to just cut that out first of all. So 11 by 6. Now you know your paper already, your cardstock is already in your 11-inch length, so we don't have to worry about the 11 inches. We'll just cut. I'm just going to cut the 6 inches right. No. I want it 11 by 6, so we want it like that. 11 by 6, and then we're gonna, I just want to score it in half, so I'm going to score it at 5.5 inches. Okay, so 5, we'll move it right up to the 1/2 inch, and we're at 1/2 inch, and now we've got a 1/2. This is our base, and I'm going to just set that aside for now. And then we want I'm not doing DSP. If you were gonna do DSP, I am gonna cover the front. Okay, so I'm not doing DSP, but I am gonna cover the front. And instead of covering it with Pacific Point, I'm gonna do it with Bermuda Bay on this one. We'll see how it turns out. So this one, we want it just to be, well, we want it to be 6 by 5.5. Now, why do I have? Let me check this out. My dimensions when I did this before, I needed, oh, it still works, because yeah, okay. I ended up with this little strip, which was kind of nice because it makes your pull tab show really well. But I'm going to be doing a coordinating color, so I think it's going to be okay. I'm going to go ahead and just cut my Bermuda Bay out. Or not Bermuda Bay, that's actually Coastal Cabana. Bermuda Bay, this is the darker one. I'm gonna cut this one 5.5 by 6 so that it covers that whole front. And on this one, I am not gonna have that little decorative edge. I had to find a border stamp that's a retired one for that. And so I'm gonna try not to use too much retired stuff in this video, although, still am going to have to use one for my sentiment. Okay, so that's 5.5 by 6, and that should glue right on the front there perfectly. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think usually I kind of hang back and wait. I cut your pieces. Let's not be too quick to get it on there because I want to make sure I've got all my directionality going. So I'm going to not glue it and we'll set it aside. Let's do the pull strip. Okay, so the pull strip's going to be in a coordinating color. So since my background is this Bermuda Bay, I'm going to make the pull strip in this lighter color, which is Coastal Cabana. 2 by 11. Oh, your birthday's tomorrow, Jewel. Oh, cool. Happy birthday tomorrow. So you already got my card. It went pretty fast. I never really know for sure how quick the mail is here. I think it's pretty speedy because I've mailed stuff over to the West Coast and it actually gets there in, I think they've got it sometimes like in 3 days. So 2 inches by 11. That doesn't look wide enough, but it is. Okay, it's going to end up being a little shorter, but we're going to leave it at 11 inches because I want to use a punch to make a decorative edge. This one you're going to score. I'm going to score it at 5 1/4. Okay, let me grab my score tool. 5 1/4, and then 4 1/2 inches. And 3 7/8. You can tell we're kind of moving backwards here. 3 7/8, and then 3 1/4. All right, now I do have a newsletter that's coming out, and in this newsletter it has all of these dimensions. So I'm not even going to write these down. If you want to know what these actual dimensions are without having to listen to it over and over and over to get them, it takes too much time for me to stop right now and write them all down for today's lesson. So just hang in there and go to the newsletter when you get it. It'll have a link with all of the instructions on here for that, I believe. I think I did that. Maybe I didn't. I wonder if I didn't. Sometimes I think I did things I didn't really. All right, so I need 4 pieces for the little flats. Okay, so what we just did is we just did this pull strip. Okay, that's what we just did. We have, oops, my ribbon came off. Oh, I'll have to fix that later. You will want to burnish these really well. I'm just going to fold them for now, but we'll burnish them later. Okay, and I just folded them like that because they're just going to go like this. All right, that's the pull strip, and now we want to make all these little cards. So I'm going to do 4 of them. The wave kind of looks like it's moving when you do it like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. But I actually started with the wrong wave. Today I want to try to do it with the wave. I intended this one to be on top, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I think I intended that one to be on. It looks almost the same. It's pretty close. So these in Bermuda Bay. These are 3 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay, so 3, I can get rid of mine. Oh man, that like flew across the whole desk area. Wow. Let's push this up a little bit. All right, so 3 1/4. I wonder if I want to do that. Let's see, what dimension have I got left here? I want to see what I've got. I've got 6, so yeah, okay. All right, 3 1/4 by, let's just go by 4. We'll do 4 by 3 1/4. Okay, that's 1. And we'll do another one here at 4 inches. And 3 1/4. We're doing 4 of these. That's 2. And grab another piece here. We'll do 4 inches. 3 1/4. And one more, 3 1/4. All right. They did say it was going to rain, but thankfully it hasn't yet. When the rain comes, I'm always afraid my video is going to have trouble because sometimes it's like with lots of wind and thunder and lightning and, you know, pretty stormy. The little white card that we're going to stamp on, I'm not going to worry about that yet and cut. We'll get to that in a bit. Now you're going to want a coordinating color just to make, you need a strip here because the little pull mechanism has to go under this strip. That's what's gonna keep it all in place. So we're gonna wanna make it in the same coordinating color we're doing here. So this little strip is 1 inch by 6 inch. So we'll stick with our coordinating one, and we're gonna do 1 inch. And it's either going to be 6 inches or 5.5, depending on which side you're going to go. If this one actually is a side slider, so it's 5.5. If you wanted to have it go down, though, it would be 6 inches across, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and stick with my 6 inches for now. Just again, I am erring on the side of what if I flub it up and need to change my plan, and then I've got my 1/2 inch on there, and I can always cut it off, but I can't add it on. So I'm just sticking with 6. I'm trying to do a side-by-side slide, but we'll see what happens. Now I can have fun with the coloring part. The coloring part is really fun. You're gonna like this. Let me put my scraps away before I get too lost in what's genuine stuff that I'm using and what is not. Okay, so those things are all there. All right, so I'm gonna take a piece of cardstock first of all, and we're gonna just generally cut them the size that they're going to end up being. They are going to be 3 inches by 3 3/4, and the 3 3/4 is the length of it, and the 3 inches is the width of it. So doing it that way, I am going to go ahead and do 3.5. I'm making it bigger because I want to make sure I have the exact seam I want. When I cut it off, I want it to be the exact seam. I need 4 of these. So there's 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, and then 3 3/4. So I'm gonna, the height of it's not probably such an issue. Let's do 3 7/8. Okay, 3 7/8. I'm just leaving myself a little bit of wiggle room. So there's 2, and I actually just need a couple more. 3 7/8. 3 7/8. I'm gonna cut those off a little bit more before we mount those on, but this is just giving me an idea of the size so that I have a little bit of room to play with it. All right, so they're gonna go, they're longer going down, so that we would call this a portrait. And I'm gonna just lay these out here. We're gonna sponge everything in Bermuda Bay and not Pool Party, maybe Coastal Cabana. I don't know. I kind of lost my, oh, there it is. There's my Bermuda Bay. We'll say Bermuda Bay. This is Coastal Cabana. I think we want to start with, I don't know. Bermuda Bay seems kind of strong. I want something just a little more blue too. So I think maybe we'll start with Balmy Blue first. Okay, here we go. This is the fun part. I like the sponging part. This is always good. And your wave looks the same color basically. So we're just gonna sponge the whole thing. Leaving some white for clouds. Leaving, you know, I'm gonna emboss this wave, so it's gonna be white anyway, so you don't have to worry about white in the wave. So this is Balmy Blue. I'm not getting much on there, am I? It's okay. I don't really need a ton right now. And since it's so light, it doesn't matter if I'm just kind of getting right on here and making a mess of it. It doesn't need to be smooth because this is just the starting point. My video does look fuzzy. That's so weird. I think my internet's not doing well. Or maybe it's my camera. I don't know. Let's point on my, like, let's focus, camera. Let's focus here. And I think I made it worse just now when I did that. No, maybe it's better now. Yeah, I don't know. The camera, maybe it's my camera's acting up. Okay, so now Balmy Blue. Thankfully, this is like so general. It doesn't really matter if you don't see it great. This is Coastal Cabana. And there's not like a lot on there. I'm not too worried about that mingling in. This part I want more in the waves. Well, Jeff and I went to a park called Elephant Rocks. It was really beautiful. I didn't really know what to expect. I'd read about it here in Missouri. It had really big rocks, and it was really cool. Jeff said it was the nicest park he's ever hiked in. In Washington State, in Spokane, where I grew up, there's a state park called Riverside State Park that has really giant rocks, but totally different formations and bigger, like lots bigger. So the word elephant to me was kind of funny because I don't know. Oh, good. Thank you, Jewel. I'm glad it's not, it's just looking weird. Every time I look over at the comments, I'm seeing like the camera looks really fuzzy here. So not sure why. But anyway, so that's why I'm touching the screen. Like, camera, would you please focus? I don't know if it doesn't like my paper pumpkin thing in the middle here or what. The rocks were really round, like big giant boulders. And it had been a quarry a long time before, and I'm sure that's how they'd gotten a lot of these stones up out of the ground. Piled them up. I don't know. It didn't really look like that because it's been that way long enough that it's really grown up, you know, with beautiful trees all around. The trails were really nice. A nice, actually handicap accessible all the way through, which was nice. Nice wide path. So even if it was really crowded, if you were there, it would be good. Now, again, I'm going to a darker ink, so I'm not too concerned about my Coastal Cabana being on here. Otherwise, get a new brush. But this is in the same color family generally and a darker ink. So I don't think I'm going to mess with it too much. Or, you know, it's not going to mess it up. I do want to reorient my paper. So I have some lighter stuff, which is going to be the sky at the top. I think that's what that one was. And that. Okay, now I'm all set. So now I want to apply more color for these waves. And it can be kind of random. There's one. Okay, they're not all going to be in the same, you know, these waves are moving, so I don't know myself yet really where they're going to end up. We'll see, because when you stamp with the Versamark, you're kind of guessing because it's a clear, colorless ink. And until you get your embossing powder on there, you really you don't really know what's going on. Okay, so I've got some random coloring in there that I kind of want to smooth some of that out. So I'm going to get my Coastal Cabana back in. Now this time I am going to change brushes because that's pretty dark. I don't really want that in my Coastal Cabana. So we'll smooth this out a bit. Right here particularly. I might have to get my Bermuda Bay back out to smooth it out. There we go. And I do want some more blue actually in there too. So maybe I'll go for that instead. We'll get some balmy blue. Again, this is the part that's just super fun because you can't really make a mistake with it. You can, if you keep coloring with it, you know, it is going to get darker and darker, but at some point you will know, stop, and you won't mess it up. I guarantee you, you won't. Okay, I do need that sky to be a little bit more vivid, so that's just gonna go too slow. I could work it with that, and I prefer to go slow when I'm on my own. But when I have you here with me, I'm trying to go a bit faster. This is a very dark color. I'm gonna have to be super careful with that one. I'm gonna go on the side here and start off here. But this is just gonna give us a bit more of a sky blue in the top part. Pacific Point. Okay, just kind of getting that in there because it was a little strong. Generally you want to do circular, but in the need to be hasty, I'm kind of scraping it across. But generally you want to do circles. And it for clouds and waves, you definitely want circles. It's just a lot nicer effect. It probably took us, oh man, you know, Jeff, at first it looked big, and the walk around the park, and I put it on my Tri-City Crow Garden Facebook page if you want to have a look at it to see what it actually looked like. I taped a lot of what we walked through. Oh man, did I put that on? I think I didn't, because at some point Jeff made a reference to the rocks looking like a butt or something. So I thought, maybe I don't want this. And then he said, you don't have any audio on that video. I said, yes, but I will just send it to my heart family since now that you've referenced that. All right, so it might not be on there, but I probably have pictures of it anyway. So we want to emboss the wave with Versamark, and I should have got my white powder out, but I forgot, so I'm gonna walk over here and hopefully find it without too much difficulty. They're very good. There it is. And I also need, we don't sell the embossing buddy anymore, but you definitely need an embossing buddy. So grab this. And we're gonna do I wanna do the wave like in progression. Now I've seen people using this wave like a double wave. Maybe I'll do that too. That would be cool. We could do one there. And the problem is that this part might mask that part some. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that so much. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and make my wave move. We'll figure it out. If you put these together, it's gonna actually make it easier for you. So then start, if you're doing it like this, I'm not going to do much of this at all. I'm gonna just do the wave, and we're gonna go, let's see, we're gonna go like this, and then we're gonna go like this, and like this. I do want one to have the wave like this. So maybe I'll start here and go like that. But you can see I don't want this on top of my wave, and I can move it over and away, and that's probably what I'll need to do. I'm kind of just talking to myself as I'm doing this, just to see exactly how am I going to do it, where's the wave going to end up being. You can look at your ink and see where you want your darker part, because you really do kind of want your darker ink here and here, maybe a little here, here. and not on the top so much. So that's gonna make me want this part of the wave there. So I'm gonna actually switch out my cards and do this. That way the darker point can be where I want it on the wave. Okay, so do all of the embossing buddy on all of these. Don't be afraid to be really liberal with your embossing buddy, because yeah, in this one, some white foam flecks from that powder, you know, is not going to be a big deal, but in any time when you've got sentiments going that you are embossing, you want to be really liberal with that embossing buddy. Now remember, I'm going to cut off a little bit of an edge too, so if you get it perfect like this, then you're cutting off some. Well, that's no good. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do the ink. I'll start over here so I don't have to worry about whether my wave here is getting on another card, and then I'll just move it out of the way. Okay, so this one will go right there. You gotta move a little fast, but not too fast. And if you're worried about that, you can just stop, sprinkle your powder on. You want to be really liberal with your powder. Okay, and then set it aside. And I can see right now where my edge is going to be there for sure. Okay, now I've got to move all these off because I've got to... I should have got some paper. I better grab some paper to put my powder on if I'm going to be doing it like that. Let's see, what paper have I got over here? I usually have a whole bunch. I don't happen to have a whole bunch right at the moment, so we will just do this cardstock. So I want to keep this sheet on here. All right. All right, so there we go. Now let's grab these back out again. Try not to touch them because I've got my my embossing buddy all over them. All right, so we've got one wave that's like right there. So let's see where we want to put the other one. I kind of want it like right here. But if I'm gonna do that, then I definitely need something else right there. So I'm gonna go like this and get a second one going right there. All right, oops, I kind of tossed my powder off all over the place there. That's gonna look interesting because you can see this line, so we will deal with that in a minute because I need to deal with that line. You do not want a line in the middle of your wave. All right. We just lucked out. I always pray about our vacations because, you know, the weather impacts you a lot. So I prayed a lot about us having a good vacation and good weather because here, this is after all spring, so rain can happen like any day. And God just was really good to us. I don't know if he was or if it just happened. It's possible that it was just happened, but I will give him happily the credit. It was beautiful the days we were gone. It actually rained a ton when after we came back. And we were going through the Mark Twain forest, and it was new to us. And, you know, some of those hill roads dip way down and are kind of scary. So I was really glad that we were not on the road when it was really rainy. Okay, so for this one, let's go like here. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a whole thing. If it goes into it here some, I'm gonna be fine with that. Let's do it up a little higher. Okay, we'll see how that one worked. This is like, if you can't really trust your kids with the embossing powder. It's just too messy, but you know, when they're at an age where you can, it's really a fun thing to do with them. So you can see how my powder is here and it's just like cut off squared. So we're gonna fix that. You have to, but to get the wave to kind of be moving, you sort of have to just do it this way. It's an easy fix. Okay, so we have one more to go. And I think I want one with my wave like right in the middle on this one. So since that's the case, I am gonna do, so we want our wave to be middle of the wave. So we're gonna do a partial one here. Okay, like partial first. Do a partial one like right here, and then we'll do a whole wave. Here, you know, I am thinking I'm gonna do this again. I know it's gonna be a little muddied, but I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. Okay, so now we'll see how that worked. Worst that it could be is really awful, and I redo it, but I guarantee you I won't have to. Our little problem with the edges, it can be solved the same way if it's muddied up. And it actually isn't too bad. I can kind of see. As long as you can kind of see where your shape was originally, you can fix this. All right. So that's all of the powder. Now before heat setting it, I'm going to get out a paintbrush and we're going to solve all of the little edge issues. Put my powder away. Like your gunpowder, you don't want to keep your powder out. It'll just blow away, and if you sneeze, you'll blow it all over the place. I do want to get rid of any powder on the paper. It's a mess. And let me clean my stamp. We went over, down, we went over, down. Good directionality, Kathy. To Cape Girardeau, it is over and down. Not down a lot, but it is down some from Springfield. It's beautiful. Every little town we went through was like, this is a beautiful little town. This is so beautiful here. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. Where we came from, we had to drive through huge deserty and Palusi areas that were not attractive to me. Now, I have cut out my wave already in a few some little extras, and I have them saved there. Who knows? Maybe I'll use them. I don't know. But this one doesn't really need any cutting. I'm going to set my brushes aside. Those have got to be washed later. So I'm going to put those over there where I don't forget to get those washed. And let me grab, what a very fine-tipped paintbrush. Okay. So find where your wave is, where you want this. This is like a major issue with this line. So we're going to get rid of a lot of this line right here. Where's my... Okay, because you want a curve rather than... Okay, so I'm getting rid of that line so that we have a wave coming in here, but it's a curving wave. Okay, and I'm gonna even pull a little bit of this here out, not a lot, but just enough to give us a effect of a wave. Okay, now once you've done that though, you do need to make sure all of those little powder things are moved back to where you want them. Okay, and now here too, this will be stronger. I can see my line. I don't know if you can see that, but I can see there's this line. So I'm gonna just muddy it up a bit, so there's not quite such an obvious demarcation of where that stamp stamped. Okay, so that's pretty good. So that one is done. Let's look at another one. This one, my line is here and here, and I'm going to be trimming this anyway. So I'm going to leave that one. That one's just fine. Let's look at this one. Now this one, again, hope you can see this demarcation again where my stamp was, and I want one of these to be on top. I think this one is the one I want on top, not this one. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this line right here, and I'm gonna put more of a line around where my little wave is. It's curving this way. That's the intent anyway. Okay. Just look at it and see if that powder, if you can kind of see your lines disappearing. You should be able to. Again, right here, I can see my obvious line. Gotta get rid of that. Don't just go whoosh, you'll just have a new line. You don't want a new line. And if you take your brush and just kind of dab it, you're just gonna be removing some powder around, but you don't want dots necessarily like I just got either. So I'm gonna tap my brush on the bottom and just kind of move my powder about a bit there. Okay. I got a double dose of that powder because of my double stamping the Versamark there. So that would be super white if I just left it all and way too much. Okay, that's looking better. Still a little strong. This is too much white here. You don't want quite so much. So I'm just barely taking my brush, just barely, and just getting some lines of waves going here to remove some of that powder where I just double dipped it. Okay, that one's good enough. Now we're going to go on to this one, same issue. I've got a part of a wave coming in here, and then this one very nicely going. So I'm not unhappy at all about how all this is going or this. It's just this line. Okay, so I'm just going to barely tap some of this line out. I'm quiet when I'm doing this because like this powder is, you know, one slip and you've just eliminated like a whole bunch of work. So until this is set, you do kind of have to be careful. Okay, I have a back wave going in there, and I'm not seeing how I can really fix that too much because I don't see the curve. The curve is kind of coming here. If I mess with it too much, I'm afraid it'll mess this wave up. I can try to get my wave curving this direction more, but I think I'm gonna just leave it. I'm afraid it'll totally screw it up if I mess with it too much. All right, so I still think my video looks messed up. I'm hoping it's not because it's very frustrating when my video's acting up. Where did I put my powder? Oh, there it is. All of your powder, you know, you can save it. As long as there's no color or anything in it, you know, any little bit that you get off, just stick it back in there in your container. One little jar of powder will last you years and years unless you're embossing a lot. So even though you might pay for it, it's a good deal. All right, so now I'm gonna have to put my heat gun on. This is a little noisy, but this is what you have to do. I'm gonna let it heat up a bit here on the side. And if you are at all concerned about yourself burning, you can, here, let me turn this off for a second. You can take a little clipboard. I don't usually do this, but you can clip it, or you can even just grab a clip. But this works too, so I'll just do this. The reason I don't do this is because I like to do it on the bottom as well as the top. So if you head the heat away from you, it's not going to burn you. It's very satisfying to watch this process. I love that. So pretty. So there's one. The reason I do, the clip can get really hot, so that's another reason I don't really use that method too much. I bought that mainly for that purpose, and then I think I burned myself on that clip one time. If you do it on the bottom too, as well as the top, it kind of can help keep your paper nice and straight and not curved up so much. Oh, that's gorgeous. This is gonna be so cute. I really love this one. This is a nice one. All right, so I'm just gonna do it this way and blow away from me. This embosser kind of reminds me of when I was a high school student. My mother paid for me to go to a private boarding academy one year. It was part of our religion, so it wasn't like a punishment or anything. Although some kids probably thought it was. It actually was really nice, so it was no punishment. But there were rules because the dorms were old, so you weren't allowed to have a popcorn popper in your dorm room. Now this one, I could have gotten rid of some more and there, and that kind of looks funky, but we're gonna just live with it as is. I should have left some of my white powder. I can fix that. There's always a fix, so we will fix that as we go. And so I love popcorn, and you know, you're living in a dorm, so you don't have snacks available like you did at home when you were just there not long ago. It's not like you're basic training or anything. You're a kid. A lot of kids go to this boarding academy from, you know, freshman on. Thankfully, I wasn't there until I was a junior. And I did my junior and senior year there, but, and there were good things about it, but the wiring in the dorms, the old dorms, they're probably nice new ones now, was so old you could not have you were allowed to have a hairdryer, thankfully, but no popcorn popper. And some kid, I remember our resident, RA, she said, yeah, one of the newbies who had come and she caught popping with a hot air popcorn popper in her room, and her defense was it was the same as a hairdryer. So, you know, what's the big deal? All right, so this is our last one. So aren't these looking nice? Oops, I see some powder I missed. Just, you know, double check, because when you've got so much of it, it's easy to miss some of it. And I see a little tiny bit right here that I didn't note, because my ink behind there was pretty light. There we go. So the embossing kind of reminds me, could I pop popcorn with it? I don't think so. Anyway, it's not at all the same. The RA said, yeah, but if you used a hairdryer, that would just blow your popcorn off. I was thinking, you're missing her argument is actually, you know, not that weak. It is similar. It's just in a tube rather than laying on a desk. But, or on your head, like hair, of course, for a hairdryer. Anyway. I don't think my embossing gun would probably get hot enough, and it's certainly not blowing air hard enough to hot air popcorn. Okay, there we go. That double wave actually turned out really cool. I like it. That's a nice one. I'm going to have to remember how I did that, because that actually looks pretty good. Okay, so that is that. Now let's solve my little issue here. It wasn't that one, and it wasn't that one either. Let me get rid of I feel powder like all over. I'm just going to do that and get rid of it. It was this one right here. I need some white. And we are not selling it, but you might have some. Let me find it in here in my drawer. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay, so you can go to the craft store. Sometimes at Christmas time we have this. It's not in a pen usually, but this is called a snow marker. It's a Marvy one. And it actually does puffed up white snow kind of stuff. It's problematic. It sometimes pours out, sometimes doesn't come out. I have the hardest time with it. So this tip goes in. If you hold it, liquid comes out. You have to shake it, and you really can't see all that well what it is doing. And unless you get enough of it, it does nothing. And it does puff up. So you got to be a little careful here with it. It puffs up with the, so I'm just trying to get some going here. So I can kind of get a circle for my little wave right there. Okay. It puffs up with the embossing gun. If you get enough on there to do anything with. Now, since I've got ink under it, it's not terribly white because I didn't get enough of it on there. I know I have some in there. Why did it not do any better than that? I see some of it, but it's not really... Trying to get it out. I wonder if it's dried up in there. Maybe I'm running out and I didn't realize it. I'll have to buy some more. Because it's not quite... You need more liquid than this to get it on there. Come on. Well, that might be as good as I can get. And I'm not done. This is only the first step. I just wished it, oh, here we go. Now you can see it kind of puffing up. It actually puffs up, and it's a nice little effect for snow. Ooh, why is there dark stuff in there? All right, so once that's done, and you don't like your color, because you want, you don't want it to be yellow at all, I'm going to use my little gel pen. We're going to put some little wavy lines here over where I got, I don't know what that color was. It was on my, it must have been on my, it picked it up from the ink and I didn't realize it and transferred it. I think I'm really ruining that now. Okay, but anyway, you can see, you can color right on it, and then you can get your little spots like your wave had, and you can put your lines in and all that. So there's always a fix with a gel pen. And that little snow thing is really handy to have, but you do have to have one that's working a little better than the way mine is right now. Okay, there we go. Ah, there we go. Okay, so that's sort of fixing my wave. I'm not terribly happy with it, but I'm not disappointed too much with it, and we'll just have to go on. All right, oh, I forgot. We do want to do our sentiments. Okay, so in the stamp set that I'm using, it's Retired Flowing Fountain, you've got Always Loved, Never Forgotten, Forever Missed. And it seemed like this was a perfect one with the You Mean So Much to Me that's also on here. Or you could do Take Care of Yourself. The sentiments on this one were a really good one. And I love birds, so I didn't just, and the fountain is good. It's a good background fountain. So I, of course, did get that sentiment, but we're going to put those right on here. You want to figure out, though, which card is going to go on top so that you know where your sentiments are going to go. Okay, and let's trim these to the size that I need before I even put the sentiments on. All right, so here we go. Let's look at each one. They're all going to be the same size. They are 3 by 3 3/4. All right, so I can see an edge here, so I want that edge off. So we will go 3 inches there. Okay, so oh, that seems awfully, no, that's correct. 3, in fact, it's even a little, 3. That's correct. Okay, 3. It just seems like a lot. I didn't realize I'd left that much on there. 3 by 3 3/4. And I want more sky than wave off, so 3 3/4. Okay, so there's one. And again, this one you can see, this is the side that's coming off. A little bit on this side because of my ink. So let's take just a tiny bit of that off there. Because your ink is almost always going to be a little dark on the edges. That's why you want to, when you're sponging, always make your cardstock bigger than you're going to end up with. So this is 3 inches. I don't know that I want that much off there. But I do want all of that there, so we're going to have to go with that. So 3 inches. And my bottom here is like this, so I've got to get some of the sky off because I don't want it to be dark on the edge there, but I do need that little bit off down there too. Okay, 3 3/4. Oh, that's not really, barely gonna take that off, but it's gonna have to work. Okay, so that one's done. Okay, so let's take this bottom off right there. That might leave all sky for me on this one. 3 3/4. Yep, pretty much. Good thing I don't have a lot of dark stuff up there. And then we want this one to be 3 inches, and taking as much of this one off as possible since I've got, you know, all my issues there. So 3 inches. There we go. Got rid of almost all of that, so that's good. And the last one, we'll just take a tiny bit off here. I don't want a lot off there because I like that curl. And let's see, 3 inches. Do I want all of that off? Oh, I didn't really, but we're gonna have to do it. So 3 inches, and then this is 3 3/4. We'll take all of that from the top. Okay, now these are ready to go on those cards that you cut out already. Oh, not yet, I forgot, I gotta stamp them. So let's figure out which one is gonna go on top. That one I like. Oh, that one's the best one for like just the perfect wave shape. So this one will be on the top. We're showing movement, so you wanna see how it would flow. If that one's the top, this would be next. This one would be next, and this one would be there. I think that shows basically the progression of your wave. So here's one. So we'll want to start with Always Loved on the front. And this comes like this. I could cut these apart, but I'll just be careful in how I mix it up. And I could mask it just to be on the safe side. So just take your washi tape or any kind of tape and cover up your words that you're not going to want showing. Before you ink it up. There's a tiny bit of an N up there. I want to get that too. Cape Girardeau is actually had, when we were first looking at where to move, I was very interested in living there because it's close to a couple of borders, and there's, you know, a lot of really cool parks in those states, in Illinois and in Arkansas. And then it's close to Tennessee as well. And I mean, and it's a college town. They had a rose garden. And so that's primarily what I was looking at, is what has a rose garden. Now I want a nice strong stamp color. And I'm not sure if my Bermuda base is going to be really strong. So let's test it out, first of all, with a different stamp, because I've got this all masked up and I don't want to have to mask it up again. So let me just grab a little wood stamp here on the side and see. Some white here. That's pretty dark. I think it'll probably be dark enough. And anyway, so we, you know, as I looked though, it looked like it was a nice rose garden, but, and it is closer to the garden in St. Louis. There's some really good ones up there. But I didn't want to live anywhere near St. Louis. So once I found that Springfield had a really good garden, I pretty much settled on that. And then when we visited here, and I loved it, it's a beautiful garden, that, you know, just made it all the easier to choose to live here in Springfield. But so we didn't even visit Cape Girardeau when we decided to move here. But I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we decided here, because while we were there, we looked to find that rose garden. I wanted to see it. It used to be called the Rose City. There was a bunch of roses planted along the freeway there that Laura Bush did, I think. And it was, I don't know what happened. It's a beautiful town, beautiful city. And there were some really nice houses you could buy for very reasonable. Really nice, like right there in town. It's a really cute town. Much smaller than Springfield, I think. Okay, so now I've got all that edge stuff off, and I masked it. I just peeled off that tape, so, you know, you shouldn't have an issue there. And this is the front one, so let's just stick this right on there. Oh, it's a little crooked, but it's cute. All right. So now you just do the next. You know, you're just going to do the next one. And again, same thing. Mask up the other words, stamp, and you're all good to go. So we looked and looked for where this rose garden is in Cape Kapahā, I think it was Kapahā Park. We went and looked at the lookout, Cape Girardeau lookout. We found out about the town. They have a really nice conservation center there. That was oh so fun. Jeff got the best picture of a cardinal yet at that conservation center. And I've been trying to get pictures of cardinals since we've lived here, and they skitter away just as I'm getting there. It's like, come on, you guys, can't you just give me a break? All right, but the rose garden is under, I think it's under construction. We couldn't find it. There was no rose garden in the park at all. Seriously, not one bush. And the area I think it was in was all torn up. They were working on it. So I think it's in progress. Boy, I'm glad we didn't plan on moving there. That would have been very disappointing to me. All right. There's some lettering like right there. Let's grab this. This is the one. This is why I oftentimes use a marker and just mark my words with a marker rather than go to all the trouble of this masking business. It's very painstaking. Okay, so there, it's all masked up. Now you just have to peel off your tape. Try not to get it all over yourself. That's the tricky part. And the next one goes like there. A little bit of lines there. And the last one, I think I can just ink it up and not have to mask. Let's try it. Okay, the top and the bottom, you can try to do it this way. You just eyeball it on the side. And then where you have flubbed and gotten some of the other lettering, try to get that off. But make sure you have it dried really well, because if it's wet, it'll still show. All right, there we go. And this one goes right there. And we have one more. That you mean so much to me. There's a lot of the take care of yourself is pretty nice too. Oops, my cord. I'm not sure if I messed it up. I might have. All right. There we go. So cute. Some of the stamp sets just have better progression to sentiments than others, and this is one that has really good progression, and I like the little bird. So we're going to use this little soaring bird. He's very soaring, and I want a soaring bird on over this wave. You wouldn't have to use him, but kind of liked it. We have other soaring birds, I know. Now you can, if you're like me and drives you crazy, you can use your little white gel pen and try to conceal your little flubs a little bit. It's not going to totally conceal it, but it will. It just minimizes it a little bit. All right. Now that the sentiments are on there, it'll be easy for me to see what's first and what's last. All right, so we will just do a few of these, not too many. I don't know how many I'm going to use, but we'll just do 3. And then I'll put those aside. I'll have to fussy cut them out, and I'll mess with that in a minute. I need even more of that. I'm going to leave that out so that I remember I need to get more of that. Okay. So now we'll just get out all of our little supplies. These are the cards that this is all going on. So let's just make sure it's going to fit. Perfect, perfect. So we're going to just glue these on. What town? I'm talking about Cape Girardeau here in Missouri. It's right on the border. And so Jeff and I have never been to Illinois. So we drove across the bridge that's there just to say we've been in Illinois. It was not all that exciting. I have to say it was somewhat exciting. Just being in another state kind of always is. But it looked so different. In Cape Girardeau, it's rocky and hilly and trees and beautiful. And on the other side of the river, it was flat, super flat. There were still some trees, but not a lot because it was farmland right there. So we just went over the bridge and drove down the road like 1 minute and found a place to turn back around because it's a highway and came back. It was fun to have said we've been to Illinois, and maybe sometime we'll actually go there, but I doubt it. I'm not all that keen on it. There are some really beautiful gardens I know of there. I was just going to do a garden tour. I'd want to go for sure. Down there in Arkansas, you guys have got some really nice gardens too. All right, there's that one. I think I'm gonna like this better with this Bermuda Bay. We'll see. The town Cape Girardeau actually was named Girardeau because of a Frenchman who spelled it differently. Though that came through there. So it was kind of interesting to learn about that. The conservation center was really nice because they had a snapping turtle. I'd never seen a snapping turtle that close. He definitely looks scary. And they had a lot of really nice interactive things for kids. So it was particularly kid friendly, more so than some of the other ones we've been to. And they had a lot of kids' activities, too. Cape Girardeau looked like a really good family-friendly place, even though it's a college town. So the hotel we stayed at was right downtown, and so we were really close to the college. And I don't know, Jeff thought maybe they were on spring break. There weren't a ton of kids around, but it's not a huge college either. But it would be a really nice town to go to college in because it's not very big, so you could easily do it without having a car. So it would be nice, and it was quiet. It was good. All right, there we go. Okay, so that one's the bottom. So you want to figure out the top here. We don't need to worry about this yet, but I think we are going to be able to do a side slide for sure. So since that's the case, I do want to trim this 1/2 inch that I've got here on my strip off. So, because it actually should have been 5.5 inches. So we'll trim that little 1/2 inch off. I was just making sure that I was doing a side one. And then this little pull tab needs to be up, not too far. You don't want it too far. This part of it is going to stick out to here. Okay, so before you do anything much, you want to look and make sure this this is the top card. And you want to make sure there's a little bit of a border here. Okay, so that looks like that'll be fine. And then this will be then, this is gonna, you want your pull strip, this part, to be as close to the bottom as you can get, rather than up higher. Just for ease of the mechanics of it. So I could pull this down if I wanted to be down just a little bit more. I could do that, leaving plenty of room here for my little punch tag. So I'm going to grab out my little punch thing right now and use the scalloped tag topper. That's what I'm going to use here. Oh, it's just a tad wide for it. I got it just like a slightly too wide, so let's trim a tiny bit of that off. Just a tear. This is the problem when you get it that. Okay, there we go. It was just a hair over 2 inches apparently. Okay, so now it should slide in here easily. There we go. So we're just gonna punch the end of this, like right there. Okay, so now you've got a nice little end to your topper. Okay, so this way, once you've trimmed that, then you can see exactly where you want your slider to be, and that tells you exactly where this needs to be. Because the way you want it, this slider has to be underneath, but you cannot glue it too close because you want this to be able to slide in and out easily, right? So what you want to do is take this, once you've got your everything in place here, like this. This is in the middle pretty much. This is right there where you want it. Take your pencil and just mark where you want your where you need this to not have glue. I don't want glue anywhere near there. So I'm going to flip this over. It should be, if this is in the center, it should be fine. And then I'm going to put glue here to here and here to here. Okay, so I don't need that there anymore. So there's my little pencil mark. So I'm just going to put glue all along here. I want this to glue down really good because there's going to be tension on it. So I'm not overdoing the glue, but I'm making sure that it's on every bit of it. Now I'm going to lay this down here again just so I can see exactly how far up I wanted it. Right there. All right, now that that's that, I can stick this on here. I'm going to get my other glue out here for that part. Now I'm going to glue this right on top here. Okay, getting done now. Now that all of that is done, not bad. We are getting done. Not in Arkansas yet. Okay, waiting a little bit. All right. Yeah, I know it. It's and it's difficult to move. The guy who moved right across the street from us into his sister's house because she's not doing well. You know, he's about our age, and it's just a lot harder to move. I'm glad he was by himself, so it was easier for us because we had Jeff and me. All right, so now that you have that part done, you can tell this is sliding in and out nicely. Okay. Actually, before I slide anything too much, I want to make sure that's glued down good and that it's not wet, because I don't want to get, if I'm sliding it around much, I might get glue on the sides here, and then that would be no good. So I don't want to do that, but I do want to stick this under here just to make sure it is under there. There we go. And let's do our little tie while I'm waiting for that to dry. Any ribbon will do. I'm gonna grab, oh boy, let's do, what have I got? I don't really have a lot of really good Bermuda Bay. Why don't I? I'm not sure why I don't have, I've got tons of Seafoam and Pool Party. I don't think I have any Coastal Cabana. Maybe this is Coastal. This does look like Bermuda Bay, so I'll take it back. Maybe this one will work. I just don't have ones that look green enough. This looks a little too bluish. Okay. All right, there we go. So now that's that. And now we can assemble the cards. We're almost done. So let's see. The one on the top goes here. So that one is this one. Okay, so that one's going there, but that's not the one I'm starting with. Always loved, never forgotten. That one's the next one. Forever missed. That's the next one. This one is the one that's going right on this piece. So what you want to do, you don't want to go over that fold at all. In fact, I'm airing a little bit to the edge of it just to make sure I have enough room for the flip. Okay. So before I do that, this needs to be glued here. Okay, so you're going to just take some glue and glue this down good and tight, but don't get your glue out of it. That glues here. Okay, so I glued that right down to this strip right there. I can't lift it and show you. Okay. All right, so now this is the bottom card. I can glue that to this. Right there. Okay, and then the next card is going to glue right here to this little strip. And can you see where my score lines are? You might not be able to see it very easily, but I can see the score lines really easy. And you just want to make sure your glue is in between those score lines. Don't want it to go out at all. And then you're going to take your next card and just position it right there. Press that down, that'll glue nicely. And then just glue the next one. sure that's there. Again, right between those score lines. We have a sale on the die cut and the stamp bundles that are on special with it. And if you buy the bundles and the stamp machine with, I believe, is how you get your 20%. There's a 20% discount, which is significant on that embossing machine. It also adds up on your bundle too, but it's not on top of the 10% you would get as a bundle, I don't believe. I thought it was, so I have probably done some bad advertising regarding your price on that. I don't know, because it wouldn't matter for anyone except for usually other demonstrators, so I am not sure whether I have or not. I don't know. I'm hoping I didn't lead people astray on that. I might have. Now I'm leaving just a little bit of that edge there on the pull tab so that I can see it. I don't even know if I have to, but just to make sure it makes it easier to pull it along. All right, so now that's done. I can't really mess with it until I know everything's secure. So while I'm waiting for that glue to dry, I'm not even going to color my birds. They're pretty cool as is, and I'm gonna just fussy cut one out and stick it on here. And then I probably will do the other ones as well. We'll see. Eventually I will. I probably will want to color his beak anyway. Have you seen seagulls? They're pretty white. And there's some gray on them. Now this is not, I know, a seagull. But, you know, you can take liberties. Just a white one is kind of the color I want. Gray would be okay. All right, so you can put your little bird wherever you want to on there, but I'm gonna grab a dimensional and we'll stick them. Little mini dimensional. We'll stick it. Let's do it there. Okay, let's see if it's working. Woohoo, pretty sweet. Working great. And then I can put birds on each page if I want to. And then you can stamp anything you want on the inside too. And you're all set. Isn't that cute? This is a good one. I really like doing this set and this waterfall. I've seen waterfalls before and not been tempted so much when it was a pull down. But this side pull, and also they're bigger cards. And I like that too. It just, I just like the project that I saw that other people had done with this. I liked them a little better. Now, just in case I had totally not put this project online like I think I did with my newsletter, I'm pretty sure I did, but just in case I didn't. Here's your base card. Oops, let me grab a better marker. Okay, so your base card, I have enough time to do this, so I decided I'd better do it. Your base card is 11 by 6 and score at 5.5. Your pull strip, okay, is 2 by 11, and you're gonna score it at 5, the long way, 5 1/4, 4 1/2, 3 7/8, and 3 1/4. Okay, and then you want to cut 4 cardstock pieces for your pictures, 3 1/4 by 4. Okay, your white pictures on that, though, will be 3 by 3 3/4. Okay, And then this little strip here on the side that holds the pull, that holds this pull strip. Boy, what do we call this? Oh, it's 20% instead of the normal 10. Thank you, Jewel. Thank you for telling me that, and us that. All right, so that little strip, in this case, is one, let's see, the side, I'll just call it side strip, for lack of a better description. This side strip, that one is 1 inch. For me, it's 5.5. It would be 6 inches if it was on the bottom and you were pulling down. Okay? All right, so that is that, and I am done. You guys are able to go. Uh-oh, what's happened? My camera, it appears that it's doing okay. I've got like odd things here. Add, send it.